Now, Bib, you should come and move in. That way, I've got 2 organic dishwashers.
Oh, that was an interesting way to start the stream because I literally just click start and then start banging on about organic dishwashers. Nice. What a perfect start.
My bad. Sorry,
That's funny as hell. Anyhow, look, welcome engineers. Like, or at least prospective ones. Now, the scenario here is, like, I'm a noob and I've just bought the damn game. And I've decided to go and do something dopey rather than go and learn how to play the game by myself and learn how everything works. I'm going to start in a PvP server on Keen's official servers thinking, oh yeah, that should be nice and easy. And it's not. It sucks ass. It's really friggin' hard. And I see people get wiped all the time. But it doesn't have to be hard. And that's the point that I'm trying to get at with this video. I try to show people all the time all that stuff. So what I've done, I've got one of my faction buddies, Duca. He's gonna come along on this run with us, and we're gonna start in a space pod, which is the safest way to start because it's hard. It's the hardest way to fight. Like most people go, oh, Earth-like, that's easy start. This one says difficulty hard. I beg to differ. The other thing I really want to do with this is show how easy it is to get away from using those poxy hand tools. Because nothing sucks ass more than having to sit there and drill millions of tons of stone by hand. But what I'm going to do is convert this, do some things to this so it doesn't get deleted, but also do like set this up so it's going to be ready for survival and it doesn't get deleted and we don't get wiped by other players straight off the bat. If we were to start in any of the drop pods on a planet, we're stuck. So anyway, come along for the ride, see how we go. Should be interesting. Like, hopefully we succeed. I'm doing all this live on a server I've never played on before, so we've got to do all of the progression and all that other stuff that you've got to do right from the start. So hopefully this will be a good guide to get you started. And me and Duke were talking about it as well. Like whenever anybody wants to join the faction and they're brand new to the game, rather than me have to go through and tell them, run through this tutorial with them every time, I'm just going to send people to this video and say, watch the video, learn how to do it, or go and watch Splitsy videos because they're pretty good too. And so on and so forth. So anyway, yeah, let's get started. So respawn the space pod, and Duke should be able to spawn on my space pod. Alright, for some reason I am in a drop pod. Don't spawn yet, Duke. I need to get out of this thing. Why didn't I get a space pod? I clicked on space pod. I've already failed.
It's all good.
There we go, 2 deaths. Okay. Space pod. I clicked on the one above it. Okay, I am now in a space pod. Okay, now it says here, temporary ship. It will get removed after you leave the game or spawn in a new one. So this is one of the big things that everybody fucks up with when they first start is they get a space pod, they go and kit it out, they pimp it out, make it mad, do everything they want to do with it, and then they log out and then they come back and they go, my space pod's disappeared. And it's like, well, yeah, it says that every time you get in the damn thing, this is a temporary ship. What I'm going to do is show you how to make it not a temporary ship. But there's a bunch of stuff we got to do to it first, and there's also a bunch of stuff we need to unlock. So,
I don't think you accepted me to the faction.
I'm pretty sure I did.
That means I can't spawn.
Oh, maybe I need to share my survival kit with the faction. Hang on. I'm going to share my ship with the faction. So, over here, I click on the little eye. And then Control A, select everything. Yeah, that was the problem. Share with my faction. Alright, so backspace. Oh, just spawn in a suit, Duke. And then, just spawn. Oh, yeah, there you go. Survival kit at the top. Postal. Sweet. Okay. I've gone and pulled up next to this asteroid because we're going to need it. We are going to have to do some hand mining, which sucks, but it has to be done. We've only got basic tools and we've got bugger all. Now, the first thing that everybody doesn't know how to do is like, how do I get stuff to make stuff? Right? Now, the whole point of the game is to go and turn rocks into spaceships. So, jump out of our seat. There's Duca. Now, what we do is... Oh yeah, it's going to be a bit hard because I've got plugins turned on, but what you would normally do is press number 3 and you'll bust out your drill. And hold F and then mine rocks. It's tedious, but it has to be done. Okay, once we've got filled our pockets with rocks, we go over to our cargo container here. We press F. Or actually, might as well do it the easy way. Hold Shift and click middle mouse button. Actually, sorry. Hold Alt and click the middle mouse button. And it says all possible components were deposited. Now, we need to make... What we've got here is, on the ship, we've got a survival kit. Which is very basic building shit and stops you from dying shit. This is where you go to get your health back up, charge your suit, supply yourself with air and all the rest of that good stuff. So anyway, if you want to keep mining Duke for the time being, I'm just going to keep on running through this shit. Now, we're getting, like, we got 2 pockets full of stone there. So we need to turn that shit into something we can use. Now, the only thing we can make at the moment is gravel. We go to the production tab, or actually, run through it again, because I missed a step. Press K, and it brings up your control panel, and you've got all these other cool tabs up here with other shit in it. We go to production and we've got our survival kit, and this is what we can make our survival kit make. Now, we can't make any of this stuff because, as you can see there, we need iron ingots, silicon wafers. We don't have any of that. For construction components, we need iron ingots, so on and so forth all the way through. Now, what we can make is gravel. All we need for that is stone. So I can click on one and I'll make one, like I'll start turning stone into one lot of gravel, right? And it also makes iron ingots, nickel ingots, and silicon ingots. Now, if I hold down Control and I click, then I can make 10. If I hold down Shift, I can make 100. And if I hold Control and Shift, then I can make 1,000. So, and we're going to need lots of stone, right? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, while Duke's like digging rocks over there and doing all that stuff, I'm going to cut out the shit that I don't want to keep on this. Now, I want space here because I'm going to need it. So, and if I have a look in my inventory, now I've got some parts as well. Like all the stuff that I've just cut off is in my pockets. I don't need them on me right now, so I'll just go and dump those back in using Alt and middle mouse button. And I want to clear up some space down here. Now, also, we need to unlock progression on some things. So to make other things, we need to unlock them. So if we grind this light down a little bit to the hack line, and then we bust the welder out, if I can find it, there we go. And we see, I don't have the technologies, I need to research it first. So if I press G and have a look through here, in the progression tab, it will show you all the things that I can make and all the things I can't make. Now, this is the add shit to your hotbar menu, right? Or your hotbar. So your tool selection and all the rest of that stuff. Normally, you'd have a grinder in slot 2 and a drill in slot 3, which if you're playing without any plugins, that's the way that you would have it set up. So I just can't be stuffed turning all that shit off just for the sake of a tutorial. So I apologize for that. If you want to learn how to do the plugins, go check it out on the Steam Workshop. That would be the best bet. So what I can make is interior walls, and that will unlock other stuff here. All this stuff that's grayed out is stuff that I can't make. But I can make this stuff here. So, and, you know, I'd have to hunt through and find it. So, like, you know, I can make a landing gear, magnet plate, etc. to unlock all this other stuff, like passenger seats and so on and so forth. Now, the only things I'm really interested in at the moment is I'm going to need a basic assembler, because the assembler that we have, or the survival kit we have, only makes basic parts. So I'm going to cut this block out because I'm going to recover the materials for it, and that frees up a conveyor port, which is another important thing in this game. And I'll get to that in just a moment. I'm going to clear this one out, and there's my cargo container, the bottom of it, and I'll cut this one out. Alright, now I've cleared up some space and I've got some materials. Now the conveyor ports here, this is how the parts all pass through the ship. Duke's putting in stone in here, and it's getting conveyed through all the other various components through the ship. Like on the bottom of this hydrogen engine here, which is what this thing is. This is our electricity generator at the moment. That's all we got for electricity. It passes the parts up through there, in the bottom of that, out through that, through the oxygen tank here, and then goes through a conveyor junction, down that pipe, through that conveyor junction, and out into the survival kit. And that's how the conveyor system works. If you want parts to move through, like the survival kit needs the stone, and that's how he passed the stone from that cargo container all the way down there at the back of the ship, all the way up to the front here. It's very important that you get the conveyor system, lay it out in such a way, or do everything in such a way that everything can pass through properly. Now we want to put in a basic assembler here. Now if we have a look on our hotbar, we've already got it in on the number 5 place. This is the basic assembler. Now if we have a look at this just out here in space, to move it in and out, to move or whatever, you hold control and move your mouse wheel in and out, and it zooms it in and out. If we have a look around, you can see that there's one yellow square around it. That's your conveyor port, and that's the only one on this thing. So we got to make sure that we get it lined up right. And to do that, we use the insert, delete, home, and page up, page down keys to flick it around until it gets this port facing the other port. And then that is in the correct position. Now what we do is we grab our welder, and we're going to start using the build planner to assign the parts we want to manufacture, as well as to collect the parts out. So what we do is we pull the welder out. You've got the green box going around the part we want to weld up, and we right click on it. It says components added to build planner. Nice, that's exactly what we want. Then we hold shift and then middle mouse button, and it puts all the parts to production. Now if we go into production and we have a look at our survival kit, we've got all these parts added up. Now we want these parts built first, so what we'll do is we'll move the gravel down the back, and when it can't make everything else, it will start working on that. And now what we can do is if we press G, it's a bit hard to see there. Okay, press G. Down here, we've got our build planner. Now we've got all, that's on our list of shit to do, basically. Now if we want to remove it, right, we can right click on it. Or what we can do is add things directly into the build planner from here. So if I want the cargo container, I highlight it and add it to the build planner. And then that will be the next thing that this is wanting me to do. I don't want that. What's easy to do is, now I've emptied the build planner, I need to put it back on. So now to get the parts out, I go up to any any conveyor port on here where I can get stuff out of, such as this cargo container, and click the middle mouse button, and it will take out everything it can that's on that list of shit that I want to do. And then I start welding it up. And we wait. Now I don't have everything built yet, because the survival kit is very slow at making parts, as well as it has to refine stone. So click on it again, get some more of it done, and we've done all we can. We check the inventory of it and see how, like, Duke has got a lot of stone made up so far, which is good. Now this switches between your character inventory and the ship inventory, this little box here. And if we have a look at that, we can see we've got 23k of stone. We probably don't need any more than that, Duke. Okay, now while we're waiting for all that shit to get made up, the other thing that we're going to want to put in is a full refinery. Now I've got some steel plates. If you want to place parts, right, the refinery for a start is in number 6. And this one has got conveyor ports on both sides. That side and that side. This is just the basic refinery, and this is the next step for getting shit done. And I like to put this just here like this. And when you go to place blocks, to place a block, you see down the bottom there on the whatever you call it, the info thing of components required, you need at least one of the bottom thing to get the thing started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to the build planner as well, and then add that to the production queue too. Alright, so now we've got both of those things. Should have all the parts queued up, ready for that to get going. So yep, all the ones after the gravel, because the gravel's been bumped up the list. And it goes on. So, alright. Now after, we'll just try and get that done. I'm trying to do this the quick way. Because, yeah, what we want to do is get a drill on the ship. Because, yeah, hand tools are slow. And also, yeah, all the, what is it? The assembler and all that other stuff, really slow. You want to try and get it done as efficiently as possible. Now, ideally, you don't want to be hanging around in the one spot too long. The longer you stay in one place, especially near asteroids, the easier it is for people that know what they're doing to find you. And they will ruin your day just for shits and giggles. How you going, Duke? Kind of at a loose end now. We've got to wait for this thing to do its thing, don't we?
Yep, pretty much. I'm just, staying quiet, letting you do your thing.
Let me do my thing. But yeah, sometimes what does help you out a lot is when you join up with a faction, right? What a lot of people make the mistake of doing is joining up in factions that aren't doing anything anymore. Like people that haven't been on in ages. If you want to join a faction, for instance, if you come and see me and you talk to me and you want to join my faction, we have certain rules and things that we have put in place. Sorry, go ahead, Duke.
You're right, keep going.
We have certain things we put in place to make our life easier. I don't like being in charge of shit and telling people what to do, so I try to make it so that I don't have to do that shit. Try to make everything run smoothly for everybody in the faction, so that way we can all do what we want to do and we can have a good time. Other factions have different ideas, and yeah, some of them are quite challenging and interesting people. And you can have a really good time if you find the right crew to get along with, or if you want to get your mates in on it and whatnot. So, I mean, I love this game. I have a hell of a good time playing it and get to meet a lot of interesting and fun people. Still waiting for... What are we waiting for on that stuff down there, Duke?
We are just waiting for steel plate.
Yeah, it's cooking up now.
Yeah, I've got it cooking up so it keeps going between gravel and plate.
Yeah. Well, that's why, yeah, I moved the gravel to the end of the production queue. Because, yeah, if it can't, like, and see, you just click and hold on it, scroll your mouse wheel down, and just chuck the gravel at the bottom. So when it can't make the parts you want, it goes back to making the gravel. And you just chuck it all the way to the bottom, and it'll go through and it'll make whatever parts it can through the list until it gets back to the last thing it can make, which will be gravel. So, and the reason why it's making all this stuff first is because it needs less materials, less ingots than the steel plate itself. Now, this is not the fastest way to go about it, but it is not a bad way to go about it. We could be grinding this thing down, but I'm just going to leave the rest of the ship as it is. We're still going to have a functional airtight cab after we've finished fucking about with it. There's another part that we want to cut out, which I can get some steel plates from. I want to get rid of this bit, because we're going to stick something else in here, and this bit too. So it'll still be looking bog stock from a distance, but it will be a lot more functional, and also by the time we're finished with it, it won't get deleted. Okay, we've got just about got the basic assembler sorts up to functional. Now we haven't completed it, but we've got it so that it's actually, oh actually that was the refinery, my bad. Okay, we need those construction components. But yeah, the refinery, that's going to speed things up drastically for us. Getting the refinery done means that the refinery is going to process shit for us. Now, the refinery processes more than just stone. We can go for ores now if we want to. There are several different kinds of ores that this one can take, and there's several different types of ores in the game as well that this one can't do. This one will process stone. It'll also process iron, silicon, nickel, cobalt, magnesium, and silicon. Did I say silicon twice? I don't remember. Anyway, it processes everything but the 4 expensive or exotic ones, which is silver, gold, uranium, and platinum. Those 4 you need the full refinery for. And so, yeah, we won't be able to process that stuff. So picking up any of that stuff at the moment would be a waste of time, because it's just going to fill up our cargo container and we won't be able to do fuck all of anything else until we dig all that stuff out by hand and drop it onto the ground and whatever. Something that we will need to find later if we want to continue on with this is if we want more cargo space, we need to find cobalt, and that can be a real big mission, especially considering we've got no detection tools other than the drill. Like at the moment, having a look around this rock. Let's have a look, and we'll have a quick scout around and see if there's any ores on this asteroid. Because if there is, that might make things a little bit quicker for us. But there's a good chance there is not. We've got a big hole here. And yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything on it. The drill's not picking up anything. The drill has a range of about 50 meters. Actually, I think it might be less than that. I'm not 100% certain, because like I rarely use the damn thing. And the small grid ore detector has a range of about 50 meters. The ore detector is one of the things I'm going to put on this, so that way the large grid ore detector has a range of 150 meters. So when we pull up next to a rock, it will automatically scan the rock itself and will tell us where to go to find the good stuff rather than just shitty old stone. Anyway, head back to the respawn pod. See if there's any more stuff we can do. Now, we can't make any of the other parts that we need for the other shit until the assembler's done. And the assembler is done. Duke finished it. That's awesome. Okay, now we're going to want to put a drill on here. Alright, that's the next step for what... Actually, probably what we should do first is, just in case one of us has to log out or something, we're going to need to make it so that this is not a... Actually, nah, bugger it. We'll do the drill first because hand mining sucks. So, what we need to do now is we do hold control, press 2, and that will select a new hotbar for us. We can have up to 9 hotbars, so 3, 4, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 9, and they will get filled up with shit eventually. So, we go up the top and we type in grinder. Sounds counterintuitive. Oh, actually, sorry, we want to go to block tools and type in grinder, or actually if we just go here, we should come across it somewhere. Or is the drill available? Okay, we've got the drill. Nope, we've got to unlock the grinder, so we'll just put the drill in for now. Chuck the drill in there. This is the block drill. And we want to stick one of those right there. Right on that conveyor port on the survival kit. Now I need some steel plate for that. So grab some of that. Chuck the drill on. Go back to my welding tool. So control 1 and then select my welder. Add it to the build planner. And then select the nearest conveyor port, which is, I can see that one through there. Hold Alt, click the middle mouse button. Oh, empty my pockets. I'm sorry, shift, middle mouse button. Put the components to production. Then click the middle mouse button and try and weld that shit up. And it's going to take a time for that to get done. So we'll just move all... Oh, that's already been moved around. And we've got a lot of the parts already. And how long into the video are we? Because we are nearly away from using hand tools. Can't see a lot.
This is the part of the video where I feel like we should, you know, tell them to write down like a letter, like D for beginning. Let's just start with D. If you're at this point of the video, you should write the letter D if you want to join our faction. If you don't want to join our faction, then don't worry about this part.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's right. We're gonna put in code words, and yeah, the one of the things that we're gonna do to try and yeah, weed out the people that don't want to follow instructions for joining the faction, and that don't want to sit here and watch me talk shit about how to fucking play the game and have me explain everything to them, rather than just go and watch a shitty YouTube video with a couple of idiots holding their dicks in space. You need to have the code word. So you have to watch the whole thing.
And I'm making the code word up as we go along this video. So not even Postal knows the code word.
I don't even know yet. I don't know what sort of magic he's going to come out with. But yes, if you are up to this point in the video and you are watching the video, then you need to watch the rest of the damn video to get the rest of the damn code word.
And as we were.
Nice work, Duke. Okay, how are we going? We still got shit tons of stone in there.
Checking that now.
Now, the reason why I want you to watch the whole video is because I want you to see the whole process, and I want you to be able to do all this shit, and I want you to understand, like, well, more to the point, faction members, to understand how the conveyor system works and make sure that everything's laid out properly. And I don't know how many times I've had to go out and fix shit after I've told people to do things a particular way. And it's like, they go, oh, but, and it's like, no, there are no buts. That is what it is. There is a reason. And it's just simpler. Like, and, you know, if that's not for you, then that's all well and good. If it is for you, then, yeah, be more than happy to take you into the faction and run you through all the shit that we do there. You know, we have a lot of interesting times. We do all work together and try to support each other and go out and have as much fun in the game as we can, as well as learn new shit. Like, Duke's only had the game for about 3 weeks and he's been having a ball. I've had the game quite a bit longer. It doesn't mean I know everything. I still consider myself a noob to some extent. But, yeah. If I can help you, and I will try. But sometimes I've got other things that I want to do. Like, go and pick on trolls. And the game is not as hard as it initially seems. Like right now, like we are playing in a... Oh, my energy's getting low. Got to go and charge up my suit so I don't die. But yeah, I don't know how many people I've seen struggle with the simplest things in this game. And it can be pretty daunting initially as well, unless you've got someone to run through and tell you how all the shit works and how to put stuff where and how to work build planner. Build planner changes your life. If, like, I didn't know what build planner was, and then I heard someone talking about it, then I had to go watch a Splitsy video and then figured it out. And I'd had maybe 1,000 hours in the game when I learnt what build planner was, and I was like, why did I not learn this sooner? So if you're watching this video and you've only just got the game, you're 1,000 hours ahead of me on a particular skill. Like, what did you think of Build Planner when you first saw it, Duke?
Oh, it changed the way I played this game. Okay, I guess I'm really gravel. I'm gonna get mine.
Also, the other thing as well is there's, like, if you do get on with some experienced players, take what they say seriously, and ask the right questions and don't be a dick to them. And you will learn a lot of stuff that you would never have thought of. Like Duke went and designed his own drones just recently to play on the Keen servers, and those things are so much fun. There's no programmable blocks on the vanilla servers, or you can put them down, but you can't actually put scripts in them, which is a complicated thing. But so if you want to make a drone that automatically goes and attacks people, it can be a tricky thing to do, but Duke went and figured it out, mostly by watching YouTube videos and whatnot, but also from a little bit of help from people with more than twice as much time in the game as me, which is substantial. Like, I consider myself a noob compared to those guys. And there is nothing wrong with being a noob or keeping the attitude of staying a noob. It is not an insult. Because there is always, if you're not learning new stuff in this game, then you're not getting your money's worth out of it, in my opinion. Dig more rocks. Once we get that drill done, then we're going to be on Easy Street. Or Easier Street. I mean, we're still in a space pod, but I'll use the space pod for ages. Like when I'm first starting out, this will turn into our base ship. I'll add everything onto this and expand this until I decide what I want to do next. Whether I want to start a faction or I want to join a faction. I can do all of this stuff from solo by myself. I have no idea where we are in relation to the planets. Doesn't really matter at the moment. Hopefully I'm a fair way out from everything, so that way, is there anybody on the server at the moment? There's a couple of other people, a couple of Californians, possibly. Got Platinum and Closer. But I don't think they're gonna find us, because we're in the middle of friggin' nowhere. Okay, so bust out the welder again. There we go. Try to take out more parts and get this drill finished. Still can't finish it. What are we up to? 133 out of 180. And we also need large steel tubes. They take a time to do. What do we got in the production? Oh, we need to make more gravel. Actually, no, we don't, because we got the refinery. We don't need to make gravel anymore. Now, if you have a look now, we see we've got more parts in the basic assembler. The basic assembler can make up all of these other parts here, such as the large steel tubes, small steel tubes, radio components, detector components, all that other crap. So, whereas we compare it to the survival kit, we've only got this small collection of parts here that we can make. Now, after the basic assembler, there is the full assembler, which can do more parts still, and also more tools. Like if we click on this one here, we get the different tools we can make, and they need exotic components sometimes. Like we need cobalt for that, which is not an exotic component. We can run that through the basic refinery. For this one, for the drill, the next level drill, the enhanced hand drill, we can make one of those now, in fact, and so on and so forth through all the other stuff. And we've also got consumables, which is ammunition, canvas, which is used for parachutes, and more ammunition out of the basic assembler. So we only got basic guns, basic ammo, and basic tools, but not quite the beginner stuff. Oh, and the other thing that we get is a data pad, which I probably should have run through first as well, because in the data pad, what we're going to get out of that, we press I in our seat Oh, we've got our gun, which we don't really need. Because that thing, you may as well, like, call them a name because it'll be just as effective. I don't know where the data pad is. Oh no, it said I could make a data pad. I don't think I have one. Anyhow, we could have gotten a GPS marker out of it, but because we respawned a couple of times trying to get this stuff set up, didn't work. Might be there, but not paying enough attention. I mean, it's pretty late in the day on Christmas. I should be hammered. So what are we waiting for on production? It says we need iron. So let's have a look at the inventory. Do we still have stone? We've got a little bit of stone coming through. The survival kit's still banging away. And our refinery is doing its thing and it's getting used up as fast as it can get thrown in. How much is in there? Okay, need to dig more rocks. So holding F, then drilling. Now pretty much we're going to be throwing rocks in as fast as the refinery can do it at the moment, so don't have to worry about overfilling it at the now. Need those parts.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
Okay, have a look now and see how we're going. Chucked a bunch of stone in there and we've still got none in the cargo containers. That's because that refinery is much harder to keep up with than the survival kit. So we're
That's
speeding
a
the
good idea to get this drill on the ship up and running as fast as we can.
Inventory full.
Hell yeah. It's like hand mining is tedious. As well as when you have to sit here and do this stuff on the rock for an extended period of time, you're in a vulnerable position. Don't really want that. You want to be mobile as soon as you can. So that way what we can do is we can go and mine a bulk load of stone and make all the other parts we need. But for the sake of this video, we won't need too much more than where we're getting up to.
Full.
Okay, bust out the welder now, see if we can get any more parts out. Whoops, I didn't want to add that to build planner, but anyway, finish that off.
I'll
Okay,
just take this time to add the next letter, and if you're at this point of the video, you need to write down the letter E.
D
Again,
E.
I will repeat, you write down the letter E. And if you missed the first letter, you will have to go back and rewatch the video to find the first letter.
E. Yep, there are no shortcuts in life or Space Engineers. Shortcuts will summon Clang, and Clang will get quite frisky and violent with you
Inventory.
and ruin all your hard work. Something else that I find quite comical, especially on the Keen servers, the vanilla servers, is people who try to play around with pistons and rotors when they can't even do the space pod thing. And I've seen things yeet all over the place, and I laugh really hard every time I see it because it is comical. It's like watching a Benny Hill show. But, you know, as long as you're having fun in the game, who am I to judge? I don't judge, but I will laugh.
Inventory full.
Hate the player, not the game. No, hate the game, not the player, isn't it? I can't remember.
Wait, is the hate the player, hate the game? You got me confused now.
Nah, hate the game, not the player.
Hey, that's the one.
But that being said, you can't really hate on the game if you don't know it, so I'm trying to help you out. So, yep, try not to fucking smack into Duke again. Did that earlier on when we were getting up to some mischief on the server that we normally play on. It's like playing Wheel of Fortune with all these letters, Duke.
Inventory.
What do you reckon the next letter should be?
Full. Inventory.
How many?
Alright, I've got it figured out.
You've got it figured out?
The next one's going to be 2 letters.
Oh, it's going to be 2 letters. I wonder if it's
Yeah.
going to be a double letter.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
Inventory's full. Now the other thing that's great about starting in space is gravity's a bitch in this game. Because your jetpack runs out when you're trying to fly around and get shit done. The way I figure it is it's space engineers, not stuck on a dirt ball engineers. I mean, granted we are hanging around near a dirt ball right now, but we kind of need it because it's got stuff we want. Okay, now we need those steel tubes to get that drill up and going. So let's have a look at the production queue and see if we can bump them ahead of the other one. Get them up a little bit quicker.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
Take you back to when you first bought the game, eh, Duke?
Yep.
Way back 3 weeks ago, when you were just a young tacker. Brand new engineer.
Brand new engine.
Full of hopes and dreams.
Hand mining.
Sorry?
Well and truly away from hand mining.
Yep. Full of hopes and dreams and aspirations. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And says, my shit's not working. Can anybody help me? And me being the nice guy, I hadn't even started the faction up then. Duke was the first person to join the new faction I started on the server we're playing on. Because I was running a faction previously, and it was a real struggle because I kind of started it the wrong way. I was new to
So far,
running
this
faction.
faction's been pretty good.
Inventory full.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like, I learnt a lot from the first time I did it. It is a lot of effort to run a faction efficiently and not have to do a lot of work, and also not to treat people like shit when doing it. Which, a lot of people get into the habit of just telling people what to do, and it's like, I'm not about that. I'm an old school punk, man. I fucking hate telling people what to do. I don't want to be your boss. However, I will show you the way if you ask and you want to see what, you know. It's like bosses are shit, whereas leaders can help you.
Inventory full.
I try to be the latter. Alright, let's see if we've got more of that. What do we need? Those large steel tubes. There's still one that needs to be made up. Yeah, waiting for one large steel tube and the drill will start working. Come on. Yep, should have it now. Okay, we still need other parts to make this oh no, we've got everything. How awesome's that? No more hand mining. We are away from hand mining. I don't know how far into the video we are because I can't find a time logger on OBS, but that did not take long at all. Now what we do is we jump in our seat. Now it's still a temporary ship, so we've got to bear that in mind. But what we can do now is set the drill up. So what we can do is in the drill, the ship, in the flight seat, we've got a hotbar, much the same as what our suit does. So we press G here, and we go to block tools, and we can place the drill in this bit here, and we can select the drill as the tool. If we have a look at the front of the ship, if I left click with the drill, it does the same as the hand drill does, and if I right click with the drill, it does the right click function for drilling. So the difference between the two is left click goes and picks shit up. So if we fly up to the this big rock here and we start drilling into it, we're going to start drilling and picking shit up. Now if we find an ore, wow, someone's 123,000 kilometers away. An unknown signal's just popped up. Now you got to be careful with those unknown signals because they give away your position, and that's why you want to keep moving. So just notice that turn up then. But anyway, back to the drill. Now if we right click with the drill, it's going to just blast shit out of the way without picking it up. And that way we could bore into this and create some space so we can get to the good stuff that might be hidden further down. We can't see that at the moment because we don't have an ore detector. So that's the actually what we'll do first before we put the ore detector on is we'll make sure that this is not a temporary ship. So we need to stick this thing about here, and I call this the merge block dearly. So we grab some, I've already got some steel plates in my pockets. We need to go down to the bottom of the ship, do Control 2, and we go G, and we want the merge block. Hopefully, no, we can't make the merge block yet, so we've got to check the progression. Let's see what we need to get the merge block. So merge block is where there we go. We need to make a solar panel first. That's unfortunate, but I was going to put a solar panel on it anyway. So yep, we're going to have to... Is that all the merge? Yeah. So there's the large merge block. We're going to want to put... We need this block here unlocked. So solar panel is the next thing that we need to put on. What I'll normally do is just chuck one on the side... on the top here. So if we do Control 1, we've got solar panel in position number 8. And we're going to need parts for that. So we need steel plate to get that started. So I'll just slap that down there. The good thing about the solar panel on this thing is that we've got ion thrusters on this. They use electricity. And also the survival kit needs electricity. If you run out of electricity, your survival kit will turn off and you won't be able to get back to your ship. That is not something that we want to do. So add that to the build planner. Put those parts to production. And then...
can also just note if you're trying to do this as quick as possible, it would be quicker to build the turbine fan because it takes less materials to build.
However, we want this
But-
thing anyway, right? So
But
we're gonna want to,
yeah,
yeah, we want to
yeah.
put the,
Continue.
yeah. If you're on the ground, if you're on Earth, you're gonna want to put the wind turbine up because it makes a shitload more power. These things are pretty fucking useless. I mean, they're good as a backup of backups, and that's about it. They use a lot of PCU, which is something to be explained in a later video, which will become important later on in the game on these particular servers. But at the moment, we're just putting it here because we are just starting out. And we also need to put it down because we need to unlock the merge block. Now we go Control 2, press G, type in merge block up the top, and there it is. We have unlocked the goodness of merge blocks. Now we need to put one on the bottom with it's got teeth on it. We need the teeth pointing down on this one. We go Control 1 and we want to chuck some blocks down on here and space it out from the asteroid. This is a very important step because I'll show you in a minute. When I jump back in the ship, we are still in a temporary ship that is going to get deleted, and we want these teeth on this one to point upwards. Now we only need to merge the two. We only need to weld the two merge blocks up. So add 2 of those to the build planner. Go up here and put the parts to production, and then we weld it up. We got a lot of the parts already cooked. We just need some more motors and some large steel tubes. And we are not far from being complete. Now this is just the... Oh, yeah, we need one more thing after we've done all this stuff. So... I'm going to move the steel tubes up
So now
the order.
at this point of the video, I'm going to add the next letter, which, as I said the postal earlier, it's going to be 2. But I kind of threw in a bit of a twist there because 1's not a letter. So the
Ooh.
next letter is S and a space. Now, with this code word that we are giving, if you do want to join our faction, you are going to have to type it in chat. And yeah, I'll end that there until the next letter.
You should have really messed it up and done something that you couldn't figure out and just do some random alphanumeric case sensitive fucking hard bullshit thing. But that being said, I'd forget it if we did that. Okay, so I'm suspecting we are out of gravel, so I'm going to... Actually, I'll check. We go to the inventory. Yep, we are out of stone. Good news! We don't have to fuck about trying to get stone because we just point our semi-pimped out fucking space pod at the thing and we just start drilling away. Oh, how much better is this than digging shit by hand? Fuck hand tools. Okay, now see I've got that bar that's filling up. That's the ship inventory. I don't want to go all the way. Because if it does, like, if I fill the drill up, then the refinery will get backed up and all sorts of bad things start happening. That was pretty close to being overfilled. Oh, you already had the ore detector in, Duke. I was going to run through and describe that.
Sorry, I did hear you say that. I was going to grind it down because I did jump ahead there.
Alright,
But
I'll cut it down and, yeah. So, the next thing that goes here will be the ore detector, but we'll do the merge block thing first because we want to make sure that shit doesn't fuck off. Like, the merge block is the next most important thing, so that way if you accidentally get knocked off the server or something like that, or you, I don't know, have to go take a shit, or whatever reason, your shit will still be there the next time you come back on. Duke's already making up the parts for the ore detector by the look of things, which is good news for us. Large steel tubes is what we're waiting on. Now, Duke is helping quite a bit, but there's no reason why you couldn't do this by yourself in about the same amount of time, because what we're spending a lot of time waiting for. We were waiting for the survival kit to do its thing, and the other thing is that I'm running my mouth. So, you know, I am taking my time doing this, believe it or not. Well, you know, it doesn't look like I'm putting too much effort in because I've done this that many times before. The point is to demonstrate the method and make sure you all clearly understand it. We've got a lot of steel plates being made up here that we don't necessarily need. So I'm going to right click them out of the build planner. Lots of extra. Actually, I'm just going to clear the whole lot out because I want to focus on getting this shit done first, which is the large steel tubes. You can always add shit to the production queue and remove shit to the production queue like I just did using the right click. So you go to the production queue and still need 35 steel plates. Like all that stuff there. So, and we are starting to run low on stone again. Jeez, it's a good thing we put that drill on the ship, isn't it, Duke?
Yes, it is.
Because it would really suck to have to hand mine continuously, even though you look like you're enjoying it right now.
And that, I just thought, you know, if I could just help you before you save me from moving the ship around again, but...
Nah, fuck that. The whole point was to get away from hand mining as fast as possible, and we've already done it.
We've achieved that.
We just got to make sure it doesn't fuck off when we log out. Okay. Ship's full of stone again. Orders of magnitude easier. The amount of stone that we just picked up, if we have a look at the inventory, in that short drilling session there, we filled up the refinery and we've got 34k, which is 10 times what we can fit in our pocket. So we would have had to do 10 trips by hand, and it was like that quick poke at it there. Yep, there's one merge block done. Duke's already done one. You got all the parts for the other one? Not quite.
There's a one steel tube.
Yep. Okay, Duke's finished it. Epic. Now, what we do after this, these things are for connecting, the merge blocks are for merging two grids together. Right, so what we want to do is connect our ship, our respawn ship, to that block there. So you just line them up. When you get close, they turn yellow. You just go slowly, and then when you get close enough, like, yep, they go yellow and they start doing the mag thing, and when you lock them together, they go green. After that, what we do is we jump out. Let's turn the ship into a station. And then what we do is we cut it away and take everything with us, because at this stage of the game, they're all valuable parts we want to keep and make other shit with. So collect up all this crap and don't leave it behind, and no one will ever know we were here. Alright, now the next thing that we're going to want to stick on is what Duke already jumped the gun to do, is stick an ore detector in. So that way we can find the good rocks rather than just the basic old stone. So we press Control 2 and we press G and we type in ore up the top, and we've got the ore detector right there, and we'll just add that into number 3. And the way I like to position the ore detector is just in here. And we'll try and get that welded up. And that will make our cab airtight again. That's why I put the square end at the back and the round end sticking out like that. Okay. My build planner's got other crap in it that I don't need, so I'm going to clear everything out of the build planner, empty my pockets, and then go and add that to the build planner again. Whoops. Detector components. So that's all we need to finish this off. We need 18 more of them. So what we can do just to speed this along is go to the production queue, get rid of all the crap we don't need, and that's going to make up 20 of those things for us. And we now have a ship that is, like, if I jump in the seat now in the ship, it no longer says it's a temporary ship because it is no longer a temporary ship. It is now a whole new ship. And if we press K, we go to the info tab, we see that it is no longer called respawn pod. It is called static grid, bunch of numbers. And you can rename it to whatever you want. And that's now what our grid is called. And it will not get deleted so long as it has power. And also, every time we die, let's say I'm going and doing something stupid, and then all of a sudden, oh no, Postal did something dumb and he died. As long as the survival kit has power, just give it a minute, I will turn up back at my survival kit. That's what you want. And that way you don't lose your ship. Okay, now, bust out my welder again. All parts successfully withdrawn. Bam, there we go. We have the ore detector done. Now what we do is we go past my dead corpse, jump back in the seat, we press K, we go to the control panel, type in ore for ore detector, and we boost that range all the way up to maximum. So now we are scanning 150 meters around us in a big sphere, seeing if there's any ores nearby, and it doesn't look like there is. So just hang on, Duke. Try not to get splattered. Okay, what you might need to do...
Dampeners on us should be good.
Okay, there goes my dead me. We'll fly over to another asteroid and see if we can find some. Are you still getting yeeted around?
Oh, no, it's all good.
Okay, now what sucks is if you're thrusting forwards and then all you you take your finger off, your dampeners try to slow you back down to 0 speed. Now that's good and bad. What you can do is you can just turn the dampeners off and you can push yourself off in a direction and keep going. But there's a better way. If we press K, right, we've already ticked the eye thing so we can see everything. If we go and select everything, we do Control A and we show block in terminal. We cycle that off and on. Now everything is showing up in the terminal. Now we're interested in the ion thrusters, so let's type ion in here. We can select all the ion thrusters, click on the top one, and then go all the way to the bottom, and we'll put them in a group and we'll call them ions. And we save that, and then we also click on the first one for the backwards thrusters, and then hold Control, click on the next one, and then we got ion back. They're the backwards thrusters. We've got two groups that we've now made up. We've got ions and ion back. Now what we're going to do with those is from here we press G and we go groups this time. And we're setting up the control panel, or the control seat hotbar. So we stick ions in number 2. This will also be on the test for faction members, and we go on and off. We're going to check over your respawn pod and see if you've done everything we said. And then we go and select ion back and we stick that in number 3. Right? Now the reason why I do that is, like, if you are just sitting dormant or you are out of power, ion thrusters use a lot of electricity and sometimes you might need to charge your batteries. Right? So what you can do is just turn off your thrusters. You can still move around, but you're not going to be moving backwards and forwards. So you can orient yourself to the sun and stuff like that, charge your batteries, piss fart around, make changes to your ship and whatever. You won't be chewing up any juice. Now, turn the thrusters back on. All of the thrusters back on. Now, if we want to go forward, let's say we want to cruise to this rock over here, the one that I'm pointing the crosshairs at, right? If we turn the back thrusters off, right? Now the back thrusters are both off. If we go and thrust forwards, we will keep moving forwards and we won't slow down. And now if I turn, we're going to slightly change the vector, and the rest of the thrusters will do the inertial dampener thing. Now we are still heading forward. If you have a look on right to the right of the hotbar, you can see that is the direction that I'm traveling is the circle with the plus sign in it, and it moves to the center. So now I'm moving in this direction, like perpendicular to that stone over there that I was flying at. But we're just going to have a quick look and see if we got any ores over here. Just a quick demonstration on autopilot features, well, cruise control, so to say. So that way we don't slow down when we don't want to.
And I'm going to step into this part of the video and add the next letter. Next letter is T.
Ooh.
And I will repeat that. It was T.
T.
T for rainbow. Joking. T for train set.
T for turd. T for turf.
It's going to be funny when we see this pop up in chat.
It'd be funny if we see it pop up on chat. It'll let me know whether or not anybody actually watches the damn videos. Spend all this time and effort making videos for people trying to show them how to do shit.
Nobody watched.
That's alright. I do it for the fun, not for the recognition, fame and money. Because fuck that. Okay, now we're getting close to the rock. I want to slow down. I don't know if you noticed, but when I was flying, I didn't point myself directly at the rock. Because it takes your time to slow down. And if you misjudge it, like we're all Leela in this game. We've only got one eye. We've got no depth perception. If you fuck up and fly at that rock, it will ruin your day. And all the hard work that we just gone to will be for naught. We'll have to start again from scratch. And I don't really feel like doing that right now. Because that would make for a very poor tutorial video. But yeah, voxels will tear your ship to pieces. They're very unforgiving. Like one small tiny fucking piece of asteroid will cut your ship in half. Especially this thing. Light armor blocks may as well be wet tissue paper. They got about the same integrity when you bump into shit. So you take it easy, fly around, and it looks like this rock has nothing in it. Sometimes you can see ore patches. They're the rocks you really want to look for, because that means it's going to be less effort to try and dig them out. But we'll fly around, we'll have a good look, see if there's anything worth looking at here. Oh, look at that, cobalt. That's exactly the next thing that you'd really want to get your hands on. Because what will happen when you start making shit or drilling shit out or what have you is you will run out of cargo space very fast using the big drill. And you're going to want to put a cargo container on. To put a large grid cargo container down, you need metal grids as a component. And we've also got ice here, which is also a super important thing. Now here's the next thing that is really important to do whenever you find something like this early on in the game, is you press K, go to your GPS tab, and you go new from current position. And it comes up with your name and a number. What you should do is change that to what is there. So we are in space, and we have cobalt, and we have ice. And also what might be smart to get into the habit of doing is change the color of it to something so that it stands out from all the other blue markers that you're going to have, because you will have millions of these things. And that will just give you the shits. So make that like that. And now that's what happens when the ores pop up. Now we could continue on, but I think for the point of the video, how many more letters you got, Duke?
I've got 3, but I can give the last 3 as just one word.
No. Just give another letter now. We'll go through, we'll do a bit more, and we'll see if we can actually get to the cobalt. And we'll chuck a cargo container on, just to drag it out for the rest of the letters. So
Okay.
I'm going to try and drill down into this cobalt. It was 73 meters from this side. We're see if there's a closer approach for it. We'll use the ship to do it because hand tools suck.
Hand tools do suck. And the next letter is R.
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 R for rubber ducky. R for raincoat in the shower. Ooh, there might be a way in there. And the other thing we want ice for is we've got a hydrogen engine there. And we've also got an O2H2 generator. Now, we don't want to turn the hydrogen engine on and use up all our ice. Like the O2H2 gen turns ice into stuff we can, like, or it turns it into whatever we need. Whether we need oxygen for breathing, or we need hydrogen for power and whatever else, like, we might need hydrogen for later on. You don't want to turn the hydrogen engine on and use up, like, we've got bugger all ice right from the start. We've got 1,000, or actually less than 1,000 blocks of ice because we've been breathing, right? So we want to make sure that that doesn't run out. If that runs out, we are dead and we have no power. Hey, B-Dub. B-Dub's on the chat. And Will Grew's there as well. He's been watching my YouTube videos. Oh, I decided to do the YouTube video tutorial thing from the space pod deal, so... But we are talking with...
for the ride.
Yep, Duke came along for the ride. So we've got the ice over there. Don't know if I can be fucked going for that. And we got the cobalt. See if we can get it in there. I am going to be starting up a new season. Been talking to a guy that's been running a server. Where he's got like a whole bunch of really cool challenges and fun shit to do. He's pretty much putting it in bastard mode, which is going to be fun, with some other mates of mine. And I think Duke's coming along for the ride. Duke's never played on a modded server before, so that's going to be an interesting experience for him. Gets to see all the cool weapons and stuff. Vanilla is good for learning and all that sort of stuff. It does get tedious, but I'd recommend that if you are a new player to the game, get a good grounding in playing in vanilla first, because like when you start putting mods on there, you can fuck your game up, or a ship will not necessarily work, and you won't know whether or not it's because you've made something very poorly, or the mod's playing up. And yeah, if you really want to have a good experience in the game, play it the way the developers originally intended it to be played first. Learn how to do all that shit, and then start playing around with mods. I highly recommend doing it that way, just because of, yeah, sometimes mods can be glitchy. But yeah, the new season on the modded server is gonna be the world of fun, I reckon. I miss playing on modded servers. There has been a lot of issues with some of the ones that I used to play on. Because, yeah, the people that made certain things for certain things are no longer supporting those things because there was no money in it for them, and they decided not to do it anymore, which is their prerogative. Yeah, we're going to get rid of all this shit. We're trying to be careful not to hit the ship too hard on any of these voxels. Although I'm not taking as much care as I probably should. Because, like, ADHD prohibits me from being too careful. But we want to get down to that cobalt, and we want to have a big enough hole to be able to get down there without fucking hitting shit. So this is one of the circumstances in a man's life where a big hole is better. Hey Duke, I remember you were playing a game with letters and shit. What would the next letter be? Oh, look at that, blue stuff. Okay, that blue stuff there. What's the next letter?
Sorry. Next letter would be O.
O. Ooh.
O for
O.
octopus.
O for optical. I'm going to have to get in to tell me all these because I've already forgotten the first one. So you better been writing these letters down on a pad, or you're going to have to watch the damn video over again if you want to join the faction. It's part of the recruitment process. I'm sick of having to do all of the shit right from the get-go. Okay, now that blue stuff there, sometimes you can spot it on the outside, but we had to dig for it. It made us work. So what we want to do now is we don't want a huge amount of cobalt to start with. We just want enough to get ourselves underway. Right, so we chuck a bit in. That's quite a fair bit for our small enterprise at the moment. And you can see we've got cobalt there. We've got, in the basic refinery, it is full of cobalt. And we also have another 8.5k of cobalt in our cargo container. Now, cobalt being an ore rather than just stone, that is always going to end up taking priority. So you're going to end up with the problem of this always being the first thing in the refinery. So if you do run into problems with getting jammed up with cobalt, that would be why. And you will have to, what you'll have to do is, if you do have the stone, whoops, I didn't mean to get out. We go back to the inventory tab. If you want to, you can move stuff in front of cobalt. So if there is a little bit of stone here, which we've got in the survival kit, we can stick that. Oh, I don't know why that grabbed that. I was holding it. Okay, we stick that in front of the cobalt and it will process the stone first, and it just yeeted it through. So we will need more stone, but we don't need it at the moment because the video is nearly over. And the next thing that we'll grab is we will try and grab some of that ice. Oh, actually, if you want to place a cargo container down somewhere, Duke. Or actually, if I have a look at the inventory and we go to the production tab, right, we can, we can't add the parts yet. We need the full assembler for that. So, but we need these things here, metal grids, right? And we're going to need, I think it's 4 for the large cargo container. Do you want to add a cargo container, Duke? Just stick it on the top of the ship.
Yep, on the top of the ship.
Yep. So you'll see Duke fly his yellow ass out of the ship, or golden.
Golden.
And yeah, just on the top of the ship where the O2H2 gen is, just stick it on top there. That'll be fine. Just for shits and giggles. Sorry?
I think it's going to be in the way of that thruster.
No. Small cargo container.
Oh, small. Okay.
Yeah, we don't need a big one. We're just demonstrating principles here. Oh, and the other thing that I'd stick on the bottom, if you are going to join the faction, is a connector onto the bottom. So if you want to stick a connector on the bottom as well, Duke, because you got to remember, you got to roll up in a ship that is started out looking exactly the way we've done it here, with all the parts like this, if you want to be in the faction. Because I'm sick of dicking around telling people twice with shit. If you can't do this, and you don't know why I've done everything like this, then you haven't been paying attention, and that's just going to make my life hard running the faction. So how you going with that, Duke? Getting the cargo container? Okay, there we go. Now add that to the build planner, and if I go K and have a look at the production tab, Duke's already welding it up. Did you add all the components to production? There we go. Yep. They've all popped in.
All the parts.
Oh, he's done it twice.
Oh, my bad.
That's all right. Now I've got 4 metal grids, which is what we needed the cobalt for. And then we're going to be able to make the cargo container, and we are all sorted for space. So I'm going to try and take it in and see if I can get that ice while Duke's welding that up. Starting to get a bit sluggish now that we're adding stuff to this thing. What did that say? By building a small container, remember something. I think it was something along the lines of Duke added that, and that's Duke added that PCU to my ship. So if Duke wanted to, he could remove that whenever he wants to, and that would mean that part of my ship would disappear. You want to be careful getting other people to add shit onto your ship, because they can delete the PCU whenever they want to, or if they leave your faction, then you've got a problem, or if they're not even in your faction, then you've got a problem. So anyway, we'll see if we can find this ice, see if there's an easy way to get to it, like what we did with the cobalt. And I don't think so. I think we're going to have to go in through that hole. But we are going to need it. Because if we have a look at our power usage, like what we can do is press K, and in the control panel we can see all the things that require power. Like the basic assembler is using 280 kilowatts of power. Basic refinery is using 330 kilowatts of power. Now if we go to our first battery, battery A, max required input, that's how much it takes to charge, is 12 megawatts. Max stored power is 3 megawatt hours. And then max output is 12 megawatts. So you can, in theory, flatten this battery in 15 minutes. Our current output on the battery is 428 kilowatts, or 428.25 kilowatts. So at the rate that we're using the battery up, with the amount of power that we've got stored in it, which is stored power 2.6 megawatt hours, we are going to run that battery out in about 4 hours or so. Now if we have a look down at my power thing, 5 hours. I was close. So now the solar panel will charge, but it is negligible. If we have a look, we press K again, we go to the solar panel and we have a look and see how much energy that's producing. It is producing max output 5.8 kilowatts, which is an ant pissing into the ocean for the amount of power that we're actually using. It's fuck all of nothing. Now we could, if you have a look at the solar panel, it's got one green light on it at the moment. If we find out where the sun is, we can actually increase that by going flat face to the sun, and you just orient yourself around until all 4 of those lights on the solar panel light up. Well, we got 3 lights on now, so we'll have a look at the difference with the solar panel. So to find it easier, we just type in solar there, and we can see now we're currently outputting 123 kilowatts, which is still way less than what we need to run all the other things like the refinery and the assembler and stuff. This is the emergency backup in case we run out of, like, basically if we run out of ice. And using the ion thrusters, we use a lot of power, so we're going to bore ourselves a nice big hole here. I mean, the other thing about playing on this server is we have a limit to the number of drills that we can put on. I can put more drills on, but we can only have a maximum of 5 per player. But we could, in theory, between me and Duke, put 10 drills on this ship, because we can put 5 each on there. But not really a hell of a lot of point doing it. What's the next letter, Duke? I'm just killing time to run through the letters and make sure people are paying attention and learning shit.
Well, we are at the last letter, so...
The last letter.
The last letter should be probably saved for when this video is going to end, and if we're at the end of the video...
Well, we've pretty much done everything we set out to do. With no more hand mining. That was the goal. Get away from using the poxy hand tools as fast as possible. And also making sure that the respawn pod doesn't despawn. We've got it nicely set up. It shouldn't delete itself, because no matter what... Oh, there we go. We're at the ice already. Look at that. We are golden. We've got good cargo space, and we've managed to drill down to ice, and we've got a good ice supply.
But now at this point that, like, if you did get to this point and you're getting ice, you are now kind of safe to get that ice and log off, because you'll have enough sufficient power to keep your grid powered for when you log back on next. And that's how long it would take you to get to this point for your ship to be able to survive when you do log off.
The fastest I've ever seen this done is 20 minutes. I've seen someone do this, and they've stripped their ship down and done all sorts of stuff, but I mean, we've been taking our time, because I've been explaining it the whole way through and all the rest of that sort of stuff, and I wasn't hand mining as fast as I could, but I did have Duke helping me, that being said. But as you can see, it is really, really easy to do. Anybody, and also making sure that can you shut the door, Duke? Because my suit is running out of oxygen. There we go. Now I'm not dying.
And the one thing that I will add to is to make sure you do remember to get your progression bar up. You can grind parts of the ship down and re-weld it back up You don't have to grind it all the way down, just past the hack line, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, you grind it down past the hack line and just weld it back up, and then you'll be able to unlock the parts. I did try that with the interior light, but there was other shit I needed for it first. Oh no, we didn't quite get to the ice. We've got to go in another bit to go. It will be about 25 meters, but that's 25 meters from the ore detector, so hopefully we're a little bit closer than that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the other stuff we've done is just extra shit just to prove we can. Because we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk in this game. Everything that I say, this is how I do it every time I start on a new survival server with nothing but a space pod. I do it the same every time because it's the easiest way, and that does look like ice right there. I think it's ice. Pretty sure it's not. No, it doesn't. Maybe it's not. I don't know, my eyes playing tricks on me. Maybe I'm... Oh, there it is. There it is. Found it. Or is it not? Just getting overexcited. Yeah, trying to clear a space out here is a little challenging with the drill. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm going real slow, because if I hit those voxels too hard, shit's going to come flying off my ship. And then it's a big step backwards. To be perfectly honest, I'm surprised I haven't fucking broken something already. But I have been trying to be careful, because I want to do this in one hit. That looks like ice. That is ice. Now we drill into that with the left click rather than the right click. Can't really see too good. There we go. We want to make sure that we got lots of that. We don't have to fill up, but we got 2 cargo containers now too, which is a bonus. Like, we were lucky we found ice and cobalt on this rock here. Now we do not want to base on asteroids because there's reasons. Trust me, they're good reasons. You will get found by people that know what they're doing. I go and look for people on asteroids and on planets for fun and also to help them out. But other people go and do it to destroy them. If you base on an asteroid or you base on a planet and you stay in one place for too long, you will get caught. Eventually, by somebody who knows what they're doing. Don't ask me how, because it's an advanced technique that I don't give out to people until I know them better. I don't want to give you the tools to fuck me unless you're going to buy me dinner first. Anyway, check the inventory. And now we've got a shitload of ice. Now if we go into the control panel, we type in hydrogen engine. This thing makes a lot more power than just the solar panel. Wow. Yeah, a fair bit more power. So at the moment it's currently turned off.
Now
So,
we have
current
gotten
output.
everything we needed to get.
Yep.
Here is the
Turn.
last letter.
Ooh,
The last letter is Y.
Y. Ooh.
Y is a crooked letter and Z's no better. But yep, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching.
Oh yes,
I-
absolutely. And
if
as you
you're
can
hoping
see,
to join the faction, I hope to see that written in the chat. Thank you very much.
that written in the chat, yes. And we want to see the ship looking like this. At least when you turn up, you've got to have all these parts on the ship laid out like this. It's a faction requirement because I'm sick of having to tell people twice. And I've said that so many times. Hopefully it's the last friggin' time I have to say, just learn how to do the basics first. If you can't learn to run until you can crawl. Or actually walk as well. But, you know, everybody goes through the same shit when they start. This is the fastest way I've found to be able to get a space pod that won't despawn and no more using hand tools. So there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. It's been a blast, and I will next time, yeah, the next video I do will probably be starting the season up on the new server. The goal is we're going to be starting on Earth or Mars in a rover and going to a planet called Gravcore. That's the final destination, and the goal on the server is to build a habitable station on Gravcore. It's a full PvP server. And yeah, the server administrator is putting a lot of effort into setting it all up for us and stuff like that. He loves mucking around with this sort of stuff and setting up challenging scenarios for everybody, so that should be a real blast. Yeah, cheers, Will. Like, hopefully, yeah, we'll get the new season up and going. We'll get Mad Marty back in it, and Joe and Duke's going to join us, and hopefully we'll all have a barrel of laughs and no doubt a lot of failures, because yeah, he's setting it up to bastard mode, limiting jetpacks and all sorts of stuff like this, because Joe went and ran his mouth and said it was too easy last time. So we'll have to see how it goes this time, because yeah, I don't think it's going to be too easy this time. But anyway, till next time, I'll see you all later.